I'm right now cutting these wooden sticks that I have here. Put some parts on because I don't have any more clips to put on. Give me a second. There we go. I just finished putting on all the clips for the white. I took all the clips off from the metallic parts that I just finished painting, and I put it away to the side saying, okay, I don't want this in my way, because if it was, it would drive me nuts. And then of course I spent all this time putting a lot of parts on clips right here. Here's some right here that I'm putting to the side. And these are for the funnels, which I put all there after I cleaned them up. These is also for the funnels, the white parts. And I can't believe how much detailed parts the funnels are. It's ridiculously stupid to see something like that. But it's not only that, it's like parts like this, which I had to put... reversible tape works well on flat surfaces. It does not work well on certain areas where things are curvatured. And something like this, which you can see here, I had to put like a regular tape on this toothpick and wrap it around, which is the only way around this for me to paint. I'm going to put it here for that, and oops, here's another one here. Get that on this, because once it's primed and painted, then I'm okay. The same thing with this one. Putting it on top of this may not be a good idea, because then I know that some of the edges I'm going to miss. So doing it this way, oops, I see one fell off. Come on, get over here. There we go. There. The stickiness on a regular tape is not a good idea. I could have used masking tape and wrap it around. That would probably hold up a little bit better. I still have a few more to work with. And also I had to put, you know, all the funnel parts on toothpicks, which was a lot of toothpicks I have. Luckily I still have more, and I'm down to the last few parts here that I need to figure out. Some of these parts are kind of difficult to figure out with, like this one. This goes under there, and I can't use a clip to hold on because the spacing is not big enough. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I ran out of sticky tack, which I can mold, stick it on in the inside, and use a toothpick to hold it up. I'm going to probably have to end up going to the store and picking up a pack. Usually it's about $4 or $5, and just, you know, get that taken care of, because the ones that I had were so hardened up and I lost it, and I don't know where the hell it is. So this is a lot of work to get all this done just so I can prime it and paint it. But the white and the blue are the only ones, and the light blue are the only ones to do. And I may be working on replacing some other colors for other parts. Like, for example, this one is the tank that goes behind the beam rifle. I think I'm going to end up painting it another color, maybe red, maybe yellow, you know, just break off the standard color scheme that comes with this kit. And the same thing holds true with the Hyper Mega particle cannon, Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher, sorry, Mega particle cannon. So let me continue putting these on in clips, and then do the next round of painting to get that taken care of right away. Okay, So the next color that I am going to begin painting after preparing all these parts and after priming it will be Pro Mix 4 Cobalt Blue by Modo. And you gotta remember one thing: Modo, even though it's a good paint, it's a paint that you really need to respect and know how to use it, because this thing can really make or break your kit, but also make and break your airbrush if you don't know what you're doing. I had to thin it down many times because it was actually a big blob of gunk in there. So what I did was I put in a good amount of thinner inside and began mixing it like crazy until a cream-like system came out, and then I had to re-thin it again, pour it back in, re-thin it again, pour it back in. So I have the amount here, and I want to try this. And you definitely got to work fast, because this is not a paint you want to dilly-dally. If it's in your reservoir, get it out immediately and onto the part. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time cleaning it. I feel like it needs a little bit more thinner, because even though I thinned it properly, I don't want it to be too much of a caked on paint. I'm going to put like a few drops in there right now and mix it up. And make sure I give it a good mixture. Here we go. Now it's smoothing out. I don't know if anybody has experienced this paint. There we go. This side. Get this. Very nice. Hopefully when it dries it looks good. Has a nice sheen to it. So be very careful and very patient. Don't try to rush it. Don't try to cake it. And if something like this, I would have to step away a bit, look at it a bit. Okay, I think that should be enough. Because I'm gonna need to like put it next to other blue parts to make sure that they're you know, in the right shade. The last thing we want is to mess up the actual texture of the color. I'm going to stop right here with this. I'll revisit some of these parts again to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Let me do one more, something like this. Smaller parts are easy to do because you don't have to worry about covering the entire thing. It does cover the entire thing quickly, but you gotta be careful not to cake it on. There we go. And that's a good shine right there. Not to mention the fact that it also depends on the primer. How much of the primer you applied onto the part, and hopefully the surface tension of the primer looks good. That's why many of us buy the 1200 or 1500 primer bottles from Mr. Hobby. There's a 500 version, which is okay, but that's more like for armor, and maybe some aircrafts, ships maybe, but Gundam, you gotta stick with a higher grit. Alright, so I think that's okay, but I'm gonna revisit again. Okay, oh, let's do this guy right here. I'll come back to it later. So let me continue on. I still have a lot more to do, a hell of a lot more, especially the some parts here, like here, like this one, which I'm going to do in a moment. But let me continue on, and we'll move on to the next color. Stay tuned for that. Okay, now that the blue is drying, we're going to start with the other color, which is this lavender, which I am not going to paint lavender. I am going to use light blue. I have nothing against the lavender version of the Hi-Nu, just don't feel like it. Make sure the blue flows out of the airbrush fine. I'm kind of glad that I don't have to do that weird camo design thing that the master grade version of the Hi-Nu came out a while back. I'm like digging this version, which now begs to differ. Will Bandai make a master grade version of the Hi-Nu that the real grade version looks like right now? We'll discuss that in another date. Same time. That's not bad. That's fine. Right now, I have a few parts here. Well, a few parts that are on clips right now. That's fine for now, but I'm going to repass it in a minute. What I want to do is the bigger ones. For example, well, not bigger ones, this little guy right here. So, This one I don't have to do the edges, just the top of it, because it's going to be covered up on both sides. But you know what? By me saying that, I know I'm going to make a mess. Or I'm going to forget something. And that one just pulled out. Let me just... There we go. Let it dry a bit. Come back to a minute. These guys. Had a little bit more pressure on the compressor than one. Leave that alone to the side. We'll come back to it in a moment. And then we have this. Let it dry. We'll redo that. We'll do a second pass. Make sure we get all the coverages done. And then once I'm done with this, we'll move on to the next color. So the next color I'm going to work on is the Modo Pure White M001. I'm not going to show you all the paint, all the white parts painting. I'm only going to show maybe one or two, because in all due fairness, this is a lot of white. But I want to show a contrast, of course. Pure white and the flat white has a gloss to it. And to understand it, here is what one of the parts look like painted white. It has that sheen, while this one is still primed. And with the Modo paints, you really need to make sure that this is properly thinned. And you want to take your time on this. Also, paint that little guy right there, because it's going to show off through the other part, which is the blue part. As you can see, it's starting to show off right there. A nice satin glossy sheen of pure white. I'm going to do not the same part, because there's a lot there, but I'm going to use this one, the fuel tank. And this one, you want to do this. Then alright, I'm going to not continue on with this because I don't want to waste so much time. I want to continue making sure I do this nice and slow, make even even amount of coverages for each part, because there's a lot here. I'm going to do this one right here. I want to make sure that the coating is just right. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to, once I'm done with all the white parts, there are 1 or 2 parts that I'm going to work on that I'm going to paint off. I'm not going to show it off, masking and all that stuff, just 1 or 2. I also have to finish up the, you know what, I might as well do this because this is actually important. The massive cannon, the bazooka. So we're going to do nice and slow, nice and slow. I nearly forgot about this guy. But, as I was mentioning before, I'm going to work on other colors that I'm going to put on not only on the Hi-Nu real grade, but on the bazooka as well. That's actually 1 coat. I'll do another coat later on. So let me proceed with this, finish it up, and then we'll do a final review of all the colors. So give me some time to work on that.